What's up, everybody? Checkman here, bringing you the amazing Spider-Man 1 costume. Now, I know a whole bunch of you have been waiting for almost a year now for me to show the improvements and changes that I've made to the amazing Spider-Man 2 costume that I didn't review on. But before I do that, since I have a Halloween party to go to the 24th, those changes will definitely be done by then, so I'll make the video about all the few, minor details. But this is the Amazing Spider-Man 1 costume that I got 2 years prior to that. So I just wanted to go over real quick what I was trying to do with this costume, as I saw a lot of people on YouTube try to do. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 1, I guess, deluxe costume. I wasn't sure. It was the higher version than the one you would usually get at like Target or something, the $30, $40 one. I think this one was somewhere close to around $100, 120 maybe. Um, the major differences between this one and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is, first of all, the gloves are separate. On the Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's all just one suit and a mask. So that's kind of nice because then later on in parties, you can kind of take it off. You can play with your phone, things like that, so your hands are free. Now, this suit, the best thing I definitely say is the spider. The spider on this is kind of like a leathery material, and it just sticks out, stands out, looks really nice. The blue is a darker navy blue. I don't know how well you guys can see with the lighting, because it tends to look even darker now because there's not too much light in my room. But it's a nice, dark blue. Doesn't stand out too much like that cartoonish, like blue version. The red looks good. Overall, the sizing isn't as good as on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume that I have, which basically the way it came, it almost like fits me as if it was tailored for me. This one, I feel like, I would have gotten tailored if I held on to it. But I'm actually going to be selling it, but we'll go over that a little bit later in the video. Alright, now what a lot of people have been doing with these costumes is that they've been using the 3D paint to go over everything. Now, I've seen people go over the red, the black, and the blue. Personally, my plan was to only go over the red because in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie, that's the red really sticks out as kind of like a rubbery material, whereas the blue, I feel like, I like the darker kind of uh, cloth look to it. So what I already got done was the mask, or the majority of the mask, and one of the gloves. So just for comparison, I don't know how well you guys can see it now, but this is the way the glove looks after it's been covered with the 3D paint, and then this is obviously just a regular cloth so far. With the mask, it actually comes with this really crappy plastic eyes that you can't see anything through. So I popped those out. I bought the Spider-Man sunglasses, cut off the ears, cut off the middle part connecting them to get the individual lenses. Now, the awesome thing about these are actual sunglasses, so you can see through them perfectly. They actually even, I guess, protect your eyes if you go out in the sunlight. But, and then they're originally red, so I had to go over black over the edges. Now, to attach them to the mask, I've seen a variety of ways people do it. One was hot glue, which ended up not working too well because eventually it just peeled off. So what I ended up doing is putting two magnets on the inside and putting two magnets on the inside of the mask. Now, because these are level 10 magnets, which I guess for these tiny little magnets is the highest intensity, it sticks, just fine. But if I put the magnets on the outside, then obviously you have double magnets. The eyes would be really far off the mask. The one little issue this creates is that there is a face mask below the mask, and so it gives it a certain shape. Now, obviously, the sunglasses themselves had a certain shape, so those don't match up perfectly. But so putting the magnets on the inside and then putting these two magnets on the outside, they just snap right onto place where I put them. So both of the lenses easily work like that. So they're really good about snapping right into the spot that look good, that look most perfect. As you can see, there's a little gap from the side and so on. But, for overall, I mean, once on, it looks really awesome. So there's just a minor detail that, most people are going to be taken away by how awesome the costume looks to be looking at minor details that like you can see there. All right, so next up we'll put on the whole thing. Now the big problem that most people don't realize before applying the 3D paint is that the 3D paint, in order to hold, it attaches, it soaks in to the fabric. So when you're initially putting it on, you get this nice high, 3D effect. But then when you come to it, 10, 12 hours later, it's half, maybe quarter as up off of the fabric because it ends up soaking into the fabric to attach itself. Now that's not too much of a problem, like here I did on the thumb, is basically you just go over it a second time because now you're putting the 3D paint on top of the 3D paint, so you're just raising that level, give it a nice rubbery texture. But the second problem is that the 3D paint now holding it together kind of shrinks everything because now while this glove is nice and fabricy so it's flexible, the glove that I went over the 3D paint is almost impossible for me to put on now. So I have to really carefully slide it on. So I'll take the 2 minutes or so it takes me to slide this thing on and then we'll continue. So I realized that since the last time I made the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video, I've actually gotten a new phone, the 6 Edge, so it has got a wider lens. So last time I was able to stand up and show you guys the full suit. I'm not able to do that this time, but so I'll show you like this, and then I'll just stand up for a second. See, like I said, the normal glove that's just a fabric is very easy to put on as it does stretch. The other one did take me like the good 2-3 minutes to put on because little by little I just had to make sure to slowly put my hand through. I am 6'2", about 180 pounds right now. So for anybody to get this, with this effect, I recommend they be a little smaller than me. The suit, I guess, is made for people up to about 5'10". So, I do exceed the size of this suit. I believe this was a medium, I want to say, maybe a large. So because I am so tall, this ends up coming a lot higher. So what I like to do, just kind of pull down like that, and then there's kind of like a waistband inside that kind of helps center, keep it down. As this suit is a little bit cheaper made, you can tell that it's a little bit uneven right here in my crotch, so that it sticks out because just the way they sewed it together. The other inconsistencies like that you'll see here where the blue doesn't quite line up, where it lines up on this glove much better. So things like that. On the back, there is no zipper. It's just a 3 connection of Velcro. And then right here, there is no pattern. See, the pattern stops at the front and then goes to the side with the arms. So those are just, minor faults of the suit. Then again, obviously, since this is not all connected, this doesn't quite line up pattern-wise. So you got to kind of tuck it in, try to get it, But since the suit already has these parts where in the gloves you have the blue and so on, when you're just wearing it, if no one's really looking at it in too much detail, it just kind of looks like part of the suit, part of the pattern. So, it looks pretty neat overall. As you can, tell the difference in the gloves with the 3D paint and then just a regular fabric. And then throwing on the mask. I was planning on getting a zipper when I was going to have this tailor fit, put a zipper on the back so then I could, draw the spider, which is also missing on the back. And then I was going to have a zipper made for the mask, since that is also on just Velcro. But that makes it much easier to put on than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 mask. Only thing here is once you already have the gloves on, you can't really feel where the Velcros are. So this is probably a little easier to put on first and then put the gloves on. Or just get the zipper, as I said, and then tucking it in. Now the other fault of the Velcros is that in the back you feel that it's kind of opening up because it is only holding in about 2 spots. So it's kind of, it's all minor things for overall, depending on the kind of use you're expecting to get out of this suit. If it's like once in a blue moon wear it, like wear it for Halloween and then maybe one other two things, like some kind of costume party or something, or, Comic-Con, it does its job. If it's something you plan to do something else in, probably not the suit for you. And as I said, lenses, very easy to pop on, just hold and then they just snap into place. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, these are sunglasses, so I can see perfectly through them. They have the honeycomb pattern on them, which is really nice touch. They're completely unseeable into my eyes, which is really nice, because that was the problem with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit that I did a review on, is that it's basically see-through plastic with like a white honeycomb finish, so it makes them look white, but really they're just plastic, so you can see my eyes inside, whereas here these are too dark. There's a certain tint to them, so you can't see inside, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so this is what the suit looks like. So you gotta pull down every time you stand up, because once you sit down it kind of rises up. So the fabric feels really nice. The fabric does have a very nice feel to it, but it is fairly thin. I was actually kind of working with the idea that maybe get one of those full body suits and it's just like one color, black, green, whatever, and kind of like put it on the inside and attach this to it to kind of give it a certain sturdiness slash more of a body shape. So kind of, that was, I guess, if I didn't necessarily tailor fit this. Yep. But that's it. Just grab from the bottom and they easily just come right off, or pop them on. So that took quite a while, quite a bit of work. Now obviously, since one arm's already done and the majority of the mask is done, except I think, yeah, this side, as you can see, here's the rubbery effect, rubbery, and then here it's still just a plain fabric. The biggest pain are the mask and the gloves, because the mask is round. You really have to do it like part by part. The gloves, one thing I actually did in order to expand it before I put the 3D paint on it was that I filled it in with toilet paper, so it would be as if there was an arm in it when I was putting the 3D paint on. It actually still wasn't enough, so since now it's such a pain to stick my arm in there. The suit itself is not as much a problem because there's so much more blue that's going to remain regular fabric, so that can stretch out a little bit. And at the same time, you can do so much more at once over the suit because you'll be able to just lay it down flat. But I would recommend probably putting in some kind of like cardboard or something just to keep it, stretch it out and keep it like just nice and flat for the work to be done there. The bottom of the shoes, there is none. They have that, so it actually works where you just wear regular shoes inside and then just, covers over with that. That's pretty good because it doesn't require as much work as the other suit where it already has a bottom, but it's not really good enough to walk outside without having something stab you in the foot. So here you just have the regular shoes, so it already kind of takes care of that problem. That's about it. So I mean, for the money, I loved wearing the suit. I actually loved wearing it since you could take the gloves off and everything. What I would do is I just put on the suit, put on jeans, put on a hoodie, and then just left it open and wore the 3D glasses from the theaters with the lenses popped out, and that was my Peter Parker costume. So it's basically just, showing this because the spider just really does look awesome. But then at the same time, I could just wear my comfortable shoes, jeans, have all my wallet, keys, phone, and everything, and at the same time, because the gloves aren't attached, I could just walk around normal, and that's all you saw was the spider. So that's the way I actually went to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 premiere. This one's gonna take a while. So yeah, I am looking, it is what, today's October 15th, so I am looking to sell this probably by the end of the weekend, so that whoever gets it has enough time to work on it before Halloween, obviously. I will include the 3D paints that I've used. You can just buy those at anywhere really, like Michael's or any kind of like hobby store like that. taking it off is much easier because obviously once you're in there, it kind of opens up. So I think maybe if you just wear it a couple times, it's probably going to spread out a little bit more than how it initially is. Well, that's it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. Subscribe for the updates to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. Message me or whatever with any kind of offers. I'm guessing I'm expecting to, you know, with all the amount of work I've put in, I'm expecting to let go of this suit for maybe like around, you know, $100 or so. So yeah, let me know. Keep it real and see you next time.